day one. Welcome back to the show. I'm Sean David. This is Gert Hemming, and welcome to One Shot, the show where we have one camera and no editing, but 100% of us. How you doing, Gert?
So make sure you guys don't mix this up. This is Sean David, Gert Hemming. I'm doing well.
Wonderful. Now, we wanted to talk about actually one of our, I don't want to say favorite players, but a player that we both like, Jimmy Butler, and we want to discuss, is he an MVP caliber player?
Well, let's start with why I like him. I think he puts forth effort all the time. It's so much, as a matter of fact, that it got him into trouble at some places.
Yes.
Yeah? I mean, he puts in effort. It appears also in practices where it rubs him wrong when others don't. Yeah. The way he goes about it and maybe verbalizing things in the press and got him in trouble in Minnesota a little bit and that sort of thing, and also a little bit less in trouble with in Philadelphia. Okay, good. I think he could do that maybe a little bit smarter, but the intentions are correct. And,
yes.
That's why we love him. He plays hard. And an MVP.
Plus, he has that typical old school mentality. Yeah. Do whatever it takes to win. He's not there to make friends. He's about getting the job done.
And boy, is he not scared to be physical or to get hurt. I mean, I love it. Yeah, he goes through a wall if you ask him to. Yeah. Well, I don't think you have to ask him. He goes through a wall because that's his MO.
Yes.
That's his mode of operation. Yes. He'll go through a wall. Whether you ask him or not, he puts forth the effort all the time. Now, the question is, all that goodness that we've talked about so far, is that enough to make him an MVP candidate? Now, we wouldn't be talking about this, Sean, at all if it wasn't for the Miami Heat making the finals.
Yes, very true, very true.
I mean, so there you go. It's a team sort of thing then that propelled him into the NBA Finals, and now we're all of a sudden saying the best guy on the second best team should somehow be in some sort of a conversation. If they had been eliminated in the Eastern Conference Finals, we wouldn't have this discussion.
Okay, but I think it also has a lot to do with that a true personality of a player shows in the playoffs when it matters. And especially when it comes to Jimmy Butler, a player that also played on teams that never got so far, it was never his fault. Mm-hmm. And now we had a supporting cast that was willing to walk the mile with him. I mean, you already mentioned he had problems in Minnesota because of the work ethic of some players. He had problems with the Philadelphia 76ers. With the Miami Heat, it was way better. I think he was satisfied with the effort that the team was putting forth because that was also not a team that had other superstars on it. Goran Dragic, a good player, but not a superstar. Tyler Hero.
We'll come back to that. Continue.
Yeah. Tyler Hero, not a superstar, but a player who obviously wants to learn, wants to get better. I think that personality was much to the liking of Jimmy Butler, and now with the right supporting cast, he could really show his skill and how good he actually was.
Yeah, and what is that supporting cast? What do they do well that complement Jimmy Butler? Well, first of all, let me start with his stats. When is the last time anybody was in the MVP conversation with 26-6?
Scottie Pippen in 1994.
Okay, what is that? 26 years ago.
Yes, very true.
That's not going to happen. So he would have to step up his numbers on all of them. 6 assists is decent. It's not going to shoot up too much from his position.
And 6.6 rebounds for a guard.
Yeah, that's decent. It's good. But okay, the 20 points then as a guard in MVP situation, that has to be 25, and the Miami Heat need to win games upon weight. But why is he... I think two reasons why we're talking about him. One, two additional reasons. One is the fact that he now has, a crazy number of shooters around him. He cannot shoot.
He's okay.
He doesn't want to. It appears that he doesn't want to. He passes up open shots. Also because he wants to go through that previous mentioned wall and search for physicality and be the badass. We can say that, right?
Yeah.
Badass down low, which we all appreciate. But the shooters around him, boy. Now I promised it. And the second thing is, the way they played, it seemed like they trusted each other.
Yes.
The team chemistry was great to watch. It jumped off your screen.
Yes.
Hero, the other guys, Dragic, all the other guys that played Adebayo, they all, seemed to love each other.
Yes.
You know, love is a big word. I don't want to throw
But
it around.
but they felt comfortable among each other.
Definitely, yeah. There's a gap between comfortable and love, but okay, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Okay. and that jumped out. Okay, look, can you sustain that for an entire season? Now coming up, that's one thing. Secondly, they need to... Okay, I wanted to come back to Goran Dragic.
Yes.
Boy, in the finals, Jimmy Butler stepped up. Yeah? There's no question about it. Stepped up. Goran Dragic was the main man for Miami in the bubble. The games in the bubble before the playoffs, and all the games in the playoffs before he got hurt. He was their leader, and also in statistics, he was their leading scorer. I don't want to say, but exactly the same as Jimmy. He was the leading assist man. He was their leader verbally on the court, of course, also from the position. But until he got hurt and he had to sit out, I think 3 or 4 games, or maybe even more, he was the man for the Heat. Now, after he came back, he was still important, but Jimmy Jimmy definitely took over. So, if within your own team it's already even, you're not going to be up for MVP candidacy. That is not to say that I don't appreciate his play. I do. We mentioned that before.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame because I personally would like to award a player who has that kind of mentality, who has that grind, who plays that way. That style of play also should be awarded awarded physically in a trophy. But I agree. If you average 20 points, I just remember Chris Paul also had those kind of numbers, a little bit more assists where he was in the MVP kind of conversation. But it's rare. It doesn't happen too often. I also think that even if we wish that he would be in this kind of category, the numbers would need to be a lot greater to be awarded.
Hey, we're talking about a current player right now. We're also a little bit old school, you and I. And I'm thinking while you're talking, I'm listening, of course, to what you're saying, of course. I'm hanging on every word.
Of course.
But I'm also thinking, if you would put Jimmy Butler in the late 80s or early 90s, he would not stand out with his physicality.
No.
He would not stand out. Now he stands out. And I'm thinking in the current NBA, who has a similar sort of, I want to be physical and from the guard position in today's NBA other than Jimmy Butler?
Kawhi Leonard, good. And then it's getting...
it's getting thin, eh?
Yeah.
It's getting thin. So that's why he jumps out, and that's why we, not only why we love him, but I like him. And I certainly wish him all... he seems to be also very happy in Miami at this time. And I think that also shows in his play. He seems comfortable.
Yeah, I hope he stays there. He fits there perfectly. All right, you guys, that was our opinion. Let us know your opinion in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on One Shot.